Hey there everybody, in this video I want to talk to you about a very morbid subject, playing dead. I've got some tips and tricks for both film and stage actors. Join me in just a second. Hey everybody, my name is Doug Fall and this is Augmented Actor, right there, where we help you augment your acting career with tips, tactics, and tech. So I really hope I don't kill the moment here, but let's talk about playing dead. I have done a number of other videos that are on your screen right now about how to die, how to suffocate, how to die of a heart attack, how to die of an attack, and all of those are part of my Choose Your Own Adventure on playing behaviors. So check those out. But in this video, I'm going to talk to you about actually playing dead. And let's start with stage actors, okay? Because the circumstances are different in each of these situations. On stage, you're rarely going to be dead on stage for any long period of time. Most plays and musicals, you die off stage, or you die and then you're taken off stage, or the scene ends and you get up and you walk off stage, that kind of thing. But every once in a while, you have to play a dead body. You have to be on stage and dead for a period of time. How do you do that effectively without, destroying the moment, so to speak? I once saw a Fringe theater do a production where two actors had to play dead cadavers on a gurney. They were nude and they had the sheets on them and they got pulled off and on and off, but they were pretty much on stage the entire time and they had to be dead for that entire thing. It was a very vulnerable thing for an actor to play, and if you think it's easy, well, you're probably wrong. You have to be very, very controlled as an actor in order to play those kind of roles. So how do you do that? How do you convince somebody that you're dead on stage? Well, the first thing you got to understand about stage acting is that the audience has something called suspension of disbelief. And we've heard that phrase before, but disbelief means you don't believe it. I don't buy that you're dead. And in theater, the audiences are called upon to suspend that disbelief. So you are letting the illusion of the show take over and you suspend your disbelief. We also do this if, say, you see an actor on television and you know they're an American actor but they're doing a British accent or vice versa, and it bugs you at first. You don't believe it, you don't buy it because you know that actor isn't British, but you suspend your disbelief, and you have to do that in order to be taken into the story. And if you aren't able to do that, then there's something wrong with the production, something that's pulling you out of that illusion and causing you to not buy it, right? So you have to understand that when you die on stage, the audience is going to believe you're dead as long as you do your best to remain still and be dead-like. The easiest way to die on stage is if you're dying in bed, dying from a disease. You basically drift off, you just basically sleep. If you've got blankets and pillows over you, you can use that to mask your breathing. There's also some distance usually between the audience on stage, so it's not too bad. If you're going out of a battle, you've been stabbed like in West Side Story, and suddenly you're in a pile on the stage, you want to try to die so that your stomach, your face even, is away from the audience so that you can breathe without the audience seeing that you're breathing, and they will buy that you're dead. What you want to avoid is adjusting something. If you're going to die, practice dying so that the position that you land in, the position that you finish in, is something that you can hold for the length of time that you need to be on stage doing it. So don't fall in a place where your body's going to be on top of your arm and you're going to lose the circulation in your arm. Don't fall into a weird position where you have to hold it and you're straining and you're shaking now because you can't hold it. Basically, practice how you're going to die and do it the same way every time, night after night. Now, if you're in a situation like my friends that were in the show, where you're on a gurney in close proximity to the audience and you need to be believable, well, then you have to be practiced at going into this sort of mental state of meditation. Do a body scan from top to bottom. You relax your forehead, you relax your eyes, you relax your cheekbones and your jaw, and you work your way down your body to any part that's visible, and you get into that meditative state. And when you do that, you slow your breathing down and you take very slow, controlled breaths. You will be breathing at such a slow pace that an audience isn't going to be paying attention to. Again, if they're looking at you, it's just going to be for a moment, and then they're going to get involved in the story again and move on from that. So don't worry about the fact that they might be looking at you. And everybody knows in an audience that you're not actually dead. You're never going to convince them otherwise. That's why they're seeing this imaginary piece. In film and television, it's more crucial to sell the fact that you're dead because any little indication that you're alive is going to be noticed by an audience, and will take them out of that suspension of disbelief. It will take them out. We still know that that actor isn't actually dead on screen. We still know that, but if we see a little wiggle or a breath or something like that, we don't buy it. It takes us out of the moment, and that's the last thing we want to do. When a body dies, they lose all of their tension normally. So you want to use those meditation techniques, those body scans, to get yourself into a very relaxed state of mind. You want to relax all the muscles on your face. Unless, of course, you were catatonic or scared to death or frozen in a certain way, or one of those odd circumstances where your body has tensed up. So if you're on a gurney and you have rigor mortis, you might have a tensed expression on your face, and you've got to be able to hold that as well. So ultimately, you need to discover how you're going to die and what the circumstances are. If you're going to be exposed as being dead for a long period of time, then you have to learn some tricks on how to control your breath and control your movements. And if it's just going to be a cutaway, you only have to do those little tricks for a moment. So let's just take a simple death. You're just laying there, they cut away to the dead body, and you have to be still. That's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for somebody to be still for 10 seconds or more. And you just need to practice doing that. But you also need to know whether your character has tension in them and whether or not they are relaxed. So usually it's relaxed. So relax every muscle in your body, do a quick body scan, take a deep breath in, and don't hold your breath. Let the breath out. Here's a little trick about breath. If you have to breathe at all, breathe very slowly and deeply, but breathe toward the camera. So lock your shoulders into place and breathe toward the camera. Instead of sideways. You don't want to breathe out like this because that's a noticeable movement. Now, likewise, if you're here, you don't want to breathe out like this. You want to breathe out down from your diaphragm. You know, anything that's masked from the frame is fair game. If they're showing your whole torso in the frame, don't breathe. How do you hold your breath for a long period of time? Well, here's a little trick, and you got to use this with caution because it can cause you to hyperventilate if you're not careful. So make sure you're seated or laying down or in your position that you're dying in. And this is only for a shot where you're actually already dead. You're not dying into this shot. So why this trick is effective is if you hold your breath, take a deep breath in and you hold it. Okay, well, what's wrong with that? Well, first of all, your lungs are expanded and there's a little bit of tension in you holding your breath. So it's really hard to completely relax. What's better for a shot, like a dead shot, is to expel your breath. Then your lungs are collapsed, then there's less tension on your face. But it's harder because when you don't have a breath, it's harder to hold your breath, right? But one little known fact is that when we hold our breath and we feel like we need to breathe again, it's not because we don't have enough oxygen. We have enough oxygen to survive for about a minute or two with each breath. What's happening is our body is not expelling carbon dioxide, and there's a buildup of carbon dioxide pumping through our veins that needs to be expelled. So it's really about getting that out of your system rather than getting oxygen in. So if you can expel all the carbon dioxide before you hold your breath, you'll be able to hold your breath a lot longer. And the way you do that is to take in a deep breath all the way in, let it all the way out, and do that 10 times in a circular breathing. To be careful, again, you can get a little lightheaded. So if 10 times is too much, do 5 times. Let's just try 5 times, and then I'll expel all my air, and we'll see how long I can hold my breath, okay? So. So that's a long time, right? And I could even have gone longer because I didn't feel compelled to take a breath. So if you have to hold your breath, that is what I recommend doing. Take 5 deep breaths, expel your air, and then hold your breath there, and you'll be in a very peaceful state. You'll feel a little euphoric. You might pass out. Don't do 10 because it's hard on the system. And you know, like with any breath control, I would definitely advise caution in doing this technique, but it does work. Now, what happens if you're dying? Like there's a famous death scene in Psycho where Janet Leigh slumps over the shower, the bathtub, and her face lands on the floor. Her eyes are wide open in an expression of terror, and the camera pans back and turns around and all that stuff. That's a dramatic scene, and that was done without CGI and whatnot. You can see a little bit of flicker in her eye, which is completely acceptable, but there's water, there's blood, there's all kinds of things. That must have been a very excruciating shot for her to do. You have to get used to the light in the room when you do that. When your eyes are open, you have to get used to the light. So if there's bright lights on you, make sure you stare at them. And this is so your pupils don't dilate as well. And you just have to give that soft gaze that's focused but soft. And you just have to concentrate on holding it. Concentrate on your eyes more than anything else. Now, her body was not seen in that shot, so she could actually breathe through her nose for as long as she wanted. What's important there is to focus on the eyes. So practice looking into a bright light, looking into a camera, and holding your stare. And record yourself and see what little things move when you are doing it. And that is something that you should learn to control as an actor anyway, because I did another video about eyes and how they are used, and one of the things is to control your blinking. And once you master that, you'll be able to cry more effectively, you'll be able to blink less often, and you'll be able to do a dead eyes open scene. And what about those times when you gotta get dirt thrown on your face? Your dead body and somebody throws a shovel of dirt on your face, or your mouth is open and you're laying on a beach and a crab crawls out and lands on the ground. Those things are done with tricks. It's done with fake bodies that look realistic, and the crab crawls out of that or the dirt lands on that. That's especially if you're doing a knife scene, a cadaver being cut open or whatever. That's all prosthetics. Also, editing helps with that. You can cut away at a certain moment. You can slow down the film a little bit if that allows for movement to be not seen as much. CGI can take care of some of those blinks and twitches and things that might happen on a face, especially in modern film. And stunt doubles can also be used to take care of some of those effects. So there are tricks. There are magic of movie making that can be done. So don't worry too much about that. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You got to concentrate on tension, whether you have it or whether you don't have it. You got to make sure that the position you're in is comfortable for you, that you can sustain it for the period of time that you need to sustain it for. You need to mask your breathing by hiding it with props or the direction that you're facing, or you need to mask it by holding your breath, and I showed you a technique to do that. And you need to control your face, especially your eyes and your mouth, your eyebrows, all those kind of things, and that just takes practice, and it takes being acclimated to the room that you're in. So I hope you found these tips useful. Practice being dead, and while you're practicing being dead, why don't you let the video that's on your screen play in the background? That will trick the YouTube algorithm in suggesting more of my videos and really help me out. You can actually watch the video as well, because I'm sure it's one that you'll enjoy. Also, hit subscribe and remember to like this video if you liked it, and I will see you next time.